help mosquito bites. Maybe I can rub some mint on it. All right. Look at that. Let's see if I can pull my pants up that far. It's going to be a challenge. Jeez, just cut that part. That's awful. But anyway, okay. Welcome back to Silicon to Soil and Kate Sylvester. We have had an exciting week. Well, to me it's exciting. But, okay, let's try that again. I have a lot to tell you guys about for this week. But first I wanted to start off with thank you guys. And I say that because we've gotten a whole bunch of comments and suggestions and feedback, and you guys have all been like really positive, and I really appreciate that. And also you guys have had like really great suggestions. So I had asked you guys at the end of the last episode to help us out, and you guys are already doing that, and I just wanted to say thanks. So okay, past that. The juicy bit that I wanted to start out with for this episode is a bit more in depth about what we want to do with the channel and what we want to provide to you guys. So we're going to call this the good, the bad, and the ugly, because let me rewind a little bit. When we were talking about doing this channel, right, I want it to be real. I want to show people what it actually looks like. I want to show people the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think my experience, maybe my initial experience of social media, was that it was all just like very contrived and not super genuine. And I don't enjoy that part of the social media sphere. So when we were talking about starting the channel and how I got convinced to actually move forward with it was with this idea that we can be totally real. Basically, what we will be showing here, and what my commitment is to you guys, is to show our life as it is. Obviously, I'm not going to be like showing you absolutely everything. There would be way too much footage for that. But we'll show you when we mess up. We'll show you when things work out great. We'll show you, when dog providing his butt to be scratched. I do appreciate that. Okay, go over to Eloise. No. I need to get more sleep. You need to stop barking so much at night. I know there's a fox, but yeah. The things we did this week. We're going to give you a tour of the pond terraces next to the house, and explain the pond sausage project that we actually also got started with this week. We also started these arch projects behind us. So what's on them right now that you can see is luffa. I've never successfully grown a luffa, and I've tried for now. This is my third year. Lots of different reasons that didn't work, but I'm very excited, hoping they'll work this year, because I'd like to make some sponges. So, okay, pond tour, pond sausages, luffa, arches, and I also started assembling some lighting that we are going to use to replace some of the lighting that was here when we got here that is quite old and a bit dangerous, because it sticks out quite a ways from the wall, right about like forehead height, so you can't quite see it, but it hits you in the head. So we're gonna change that out. So I started assembling those, and then show you just a bit about what I do with sourdough and kombucha. So with the sourdough and kombucha and all of the other things, we're gonna start that almost flew in my mouth. Okay, anyway, we're gonna start having separate content to get deeper into that, because basically if we added to this chapter, for example, everything that I wanted to share with you guys about just sourdough, we'd be giving you guys like 45-minute long chapters. So we're going to take that out, and for people who actually want to learn more about the sourdough or the kombucha or anything like that, we'll actually have specific content for that that has all of the details. Okay, so what we're going to show you this week. Hi. Okay, I'm going to bend down and pet them, and I'm going to make everybody like vomit. Hi guys. Hi. Today we're going to go up the road a bit. So this is our main driveway that comes down to the house. The dogs brought a toy to, hey, excuse me. You guys coming too? Okay, okay. Excuse me. No, really, can I get by now? Hi, hi, I know you guys are so excited. They're enjoying the tour as well. All right, so we are coming up to our pond terrace, which actually, now that I think about it, is multiple terraces and multiple ponds, but you know. So I'll stop here for a second. So one thing I'm sure you guys can see, this is really awful. Well, I would say really awful soil, but it's not soil. It's essentially rock solid. This whole terrace area here has been really overused, I think, over the last many decades. We got here and we had used this section to plant some pumpkins the first year we were here, and we literally had to use a pickaxe to to get it to where we could plant the seeds, because it was so tough. So we've planted a few things up here already, but the plan really here is to we'll be planting a cover crop this fall. Yeah, actually probably in the next couple of months here, with the idea to help both bring nutrients to the soil and to aerate it, because like decompact it essentially, because it's incredibly compacted, and that obviously makes everything much more difficult to grow, and it makes the recuperation of soil almost impossible. What you're looking at right here in front of me is a pond, well, a pond hole. I don't know. It's not a pond yet, but it's a hole where a pond will be. So it has these terraces on, like, the little steps on the side, because that's where we're going to be planting things. And that's where the pond sausages are going to go. All right. So over here, and if we're lucky, we'll be able to see some froggies, because we have quite a few. I think we're up to about 6 now. Oh, 2 of them just hopped. So we have about 6 frogs, and I love them because they make the lovely noises, and I feel like I'm in, I don't know, paradise. Start doing my morning exercises here. Little hip opening. These ponds have a whole bunch of uses, which is, you know, kind of a permaculture thing. Like, everything should have multi purposes, but or multiple purposes. For water retention, also for you know, ecosystem. So we're trying to be able to have the frogs, like I already mentioned, but also we're going to have fish in here, because otherwise we breed mosquitoes, and mosquitoes really like me. So, and also as another use of this area, we're going to be growing some food. So we're going to do things like water chestnuts, and there are some edible greens and things like that we're going to be planting here in the future. I know it's a bit hard to imagine, but how I picture these couple of terraces here is like lush, almost jungly. You know, we're going to have the weeping willows. I'm trying to find a weeping mulberry, benches where you can sit and spend the time. It's going to be really nice and cool here. eventually, and hopefully we'll be able to show this to you guys, the progression of this particular space, because right now it's it's kind of like desert. You gonna come? Do you need some space? Come on, good girl. You're good. Good girl. Okay, well, it looks like I'm gonna have some helpers. Anyway, so I just wanted to explain to you guys a little bit more about the future, the plans here. So the idea is where Bear is sitting, there will be a rock right here, a big stone that will have a slight V in it. And the idea is that as this pond fills, there will be some overflow that will go through the bottom of that V, and it will actually overflow into this second pond down here, and then the overflow of that will go into the creek. Hopefully we'll be bringing a lot of wildlife and stuff like that to enjoy. Get back down to the squat. All right, so I've been talking about pond sausages now at least like 3 or 4 times, so you guys, I imagine, are quite curious what the heck I'm talking about. So basically, the idea is that since this has a tarp on it, it makes it so you can't really plant in it as is, right? So the idea is to make kind of sausages. I really don't know how else to describe it, but basically sausages that are full of soil. So there's this really kind of hardy, tough mesh that is used around here to put down on the ground when you're picking olives. The idea is that I'm going to use that mesh and I'm going to sow somewhere between 1.5 and 2 meter tubes. And I'm going to fill that with a mixture of some soil with some compost and putting them in these tubes. And then I'll be closing up the tubes when we're done. And we'll be laying the tube right along the steps, essentially, that I showed you guys before. And then we'll be, cutting little holes and planting plants in these tubes. And then hopefully it'll take a while, but we'll be able to show you guys kind of the progression of this space, because I think from now, this like very kind of dry, almost dead space, I think this is going to be one of the prettiest places on the farm in the future, just because we have a lot planned for it. Okay, I should go. The kids are screaming. Anyway, that's it. All right, what time is it? 7:30? Oh, we got time. Time for some breakfast. So I wanted to share with you guys my weekly sourdough and kombucha routine. We make sourdough really just once a week, and that tends to be enough for us. And during the summer, we also make kombucha at least once a week because we go through it quite quickly in the summer months. So it's relatively simple. Your basic sourdough just has 4 ingredients. So you have the sourdough starter, you have flour, you have water, and you have salt. So that's your basic sourdough. I may make another loaf because I have This week I made one experimental loaf that had about 1/3 of the wheat flour substituted with tiger nut flour because we're growing some tiger nuts on the farm this year, and I'd like to see how I'm going to be using them in the future. I also made a double batch of just normal organic wheat sourdough as well. Well, we'll see how it goes. Ooh. I always make a mess when I do this. I'm making apple kombucha. All right, so I washed my hands, soap and water and things, since I'm going to be touching my SCOBY and giving it a temporary home in a bowl. It does look so gross. Cool though, cool and gross. But I think I'm close. I'm actually to where I can. So just a little bit of information. I usually do a continuous brew, which is a thing. It's like in this big container that has a faucet on it, and it makes this whole process much, much easier. But I had some SCOBY problems, which I'll explain to you guys in the kombucha video. And so I kind of had to start from the beginning. So I've been doing the single brew. Oh, not too bad. Or so. And then I'll put them in the fridge and we will drink them in about a day. Maybe 2. Ta-da!
No, sorry. There's 8-bit and 10.
Yeah, I think the last thing that I wanted to touch on is we've gotten quite a few questions and suggestions, but there were 2 questions that I wanted to talk about real quick, super fast. So one question was basically asking if they were focusing more on like professional life, but I think it probably, can be generalized to all things, but asking if there was anything in particular we were turning away from or like trying to get away from. And I actually had to think about that question for a while because I had never really thought about it in those terms. And my first reaction was like, no, like there's nothing specific that we were turning away from. We had all of these things that we were turning towards and like wanting to have. But then I realized it's really just a matter of perspective. So for example, if you think back about what I talked about, like some of the things that we were looking for here, it was, community, a slower pace of life, a better work-life balance, all of those things. And I've always looked at it as like we were searching to find those things or like find a place where we could do those things. But you could also, depending on the perspective, look at it the other way as well, where it's like I'm turning away from a place where I didn't feel like there was a very tight community, where we had a bad, bad work or unhealthy, I guess, work-life balance. and we felt like the pace of life was super fast. So yes and no, I guess, would be the answer to that, just depending on how you look at it. The second very common question, actually there's one more. Okay, anyway. Second very common question was about the kefir and about the details. I realized that I gave you guys an unintentional, what do you call it, like a cliffhanger? Is that what it is? No, that's something else. I don't know. Anyway, an unintentional, like, you know, suspense of like, oh, hey, look, you can make this kefir cheese. And then I didn't explain anything about like how to make kefir, for example, or, you know, if there was anything else you added to the cheese. So yes, we will definitely give you guys more information about that. It will just be in separate content. So just like I said about the sourdough and stuff like that. The third thing is you guys have been asking, basically almost everybody that responded have been asking for a farm tour. We are working on that right now. We've already filmed quite a bit of it, but we still have some more to do. So we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. That said, when I say a farm tour, we're going to give you kind of the like very abbreviated version that's kind of right around the house where we've done most of the work. I will be showing you all sorts of different areas on the farm as we move forward, but to give you guys like a real full, like detailed farm tour of 22 hectares would take many hours. I mean, just walking the property takes many hours. So we'll give you a general tour so you guys have an idea of like when you see us places in the video, you kind of know where we are and like can like orient yourself better. And then we'll slowly in future chapters be introducing you to different parts of the farm in better detail. So I think that's it for this week. Thank you guys for coming back. Thanks for the support. And as always, please let me know if there's anything you guys want to see more of. And I'm making making lots of notes and lists and things of things that we're going to do in the future. So yeah, thanks for the help. Bye for now.